evolutionary theory, there's two parts to evolutionary theory. A, did evolution occur? And B, what was the mechanism for evolution? Darwin didn't come up with evolution. That was 50 years before Darwin. It was a French biologist, Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. He was the first guy to publish a scientific paper showing evolution, 50 years before Darwin. Lamarck had a whole different attitude about what was causing evolution. And the first thing was his vision. And said, wait, animals and plants fit their environment, meaning you don't find roses in the Arctic and you don't find polar bears in Africa. Organisms fit the environment. So when he was putting evolution together, he said there was an interchange of information between the environment and the genetics of the organism to adapt the organism to fit the environment. So it was all about adaptation and harmony. 50 years later, Darwin comes up with this. And actually, it wasn't Darwin, but we're not going to get into that right now. That's another story right there. It was someone else who came up with a theory, and Darwin, being upper class, pirated the title of evolutionary from the other man who was commoner. And Darwin's view came from the fact that he saw that competition, and it wasn't from him, it was from a philosopher just before Darwin called Malthus, Thomas Malthus. He came up with an idea that said plants don't grow, increase their population as fast as animals increase their population. In other words, the two words are plants are arithmetic, meaning the farmer gets 1 bushel this year. If he works real hard, next year he gets 2 bushels. And if he gets some more fertilizer and stuff, it gets 3 bushels, 1, 2, 3, 4. Animals double, 2, 4, 6, 8, going on and all like that. What was the point? Well, if you put it on a chart, plants are never going to keep up with the rate of the animals. So Malthus came to the conclusion that life is based on competition because there's not enough to feed all the animals. So life is based on competition. Darwin took that competition, put it into a theory of evolution, saying evolution is driven by this competition. Survival of the fittest in the struggle for life. That's the summary of Darwin. So all of a sudden, science bought into this fact, and Darwin is in the pantheon of God scientists like Newton and stuff like that. And basically, his whole idea was based on competition, violence, and that there are winners and losers in this competition. Well, the entire culture has taken that as a scientific reality. And so we go out and compete every day. It's like in a dog-eat-dog world out there, You're not just going to get something. You got to go out and get it. And it changes the whole meaning of the world because now people are fighting with each other over what are the scraps that are presumably there. Well, the whole story is wrong. Malthus was completely wrong. Animals do not go geometric, 2, 4, 8, 16, all that. They stay pretty much the same constant. So the idea that competition was relevant as a way of nature is not true. In fact, nature is a garden. Remember, Garden of Eden stuff. I go, why is that important? A garden is not a battleground. A garden, by definition, is the height of cooperation. That's what a garden is. And yet we've taken a garden that we came with, turned it into a battleground, and at this point are destroying the garden that we came with because we lost how to live in harmony. We have to go back and understand the indigenous people that were here 10,000 years ago. They were the ones that said, we are gardeners in a garden, and we take care of it. And that got lost. When the Europeans came to America and they saw, look at all the buffalo skins, thousands and thousands and thousands of buffalo. The natives, they would kill a buffalo for, the skin was important, but the food, the meat, everything they made from it, they used every piece of the buffalo. Then the Europeans came in and go, buffalo skins. What did they do? Killed off the damn herds of buffalo, left the carcasses on the ground, took the skins and went away. The Native Americans looked at me like, what the hell is this all about? But that's what Western people have done. take as much as you can, exploit the planet, take it out of here, go out like that. We lost that balance. That balance now is resulting in a recognition of a reality that we are not talking about, but we must be facing. We are creating our own extinction by destroying the environment without owning the reality. We are a product of the environment. If the environment goes, we can't be here either. And now that we're consuming the planet at a rate that the future generations may not have anything either because we're using it up now, it's time for us to wake up and recognize what? Life is built on a garden. It's built on harmony and balance. We don't have that. We have competition. Cooperation, gone. I say, what's the point? I'll give you a simple fact of science. NASA scientists have looked at the data and said that civilization as we know it today, civilization is facing and I want to emphasize, irreversible collapse within the next 20 years. We are so despoiling the environment, and the money has gone to the 1% with the 99% without the money. Those two things they brought up in their research and said this is an inevitable end that we're facing coming up. And I emphasize irreversible because it's not, oh, we're going to go back and make it better again. No way. It wasn't that good in a sense if we go back and look at it. And we're finding the things that we haven't dealt with for generations showing up, whether it's religious or racial bias or, men versus women, that bias, that whole kind of thing going on there, all that stuff is so much in disharmony. And it's showing up now. But because it's important, because we're facing the end of our civilization. I want people to emphasize that. Doesn't mean we're all going to die. Civilizations have been here before. They come and they go. There was, first the indigenous people. Then we had polytheism, Greeks, Egyptians, and many gods. Then we went to monotheism, one God. And then we crossed back down into the world of the material with genetics, and it's just all material now. It's all, we've lost this kind of balance that was going on, but we're coming back to a balance. And we're coming back to a balance because quantum physics. I go, why is that important? Newtonian physics, which everybody learns, separates the universe into two realms, matter and energy, and talk about those realms not interacting with each other. I go, so what was the relevance of that? Well, once we do the Newtonian look, I say, well, what about consciousness? No, it's not relevant because that's an energy. It doesn't affect the body. Spirit, no, that's not relevant. That doesn't affect the body. Body is material. It's mechanical. That's the reason for the pharmaceutical company. We make chemicals to fix your chemical body. But quantum physics came in and said that whole thing is an illusion. Everything is energy. And all of a sudden it returns us back to a whole understanding. A new form of medicine, energy medicine, is now present. The idea of spirituality, which was non-scientific, is now expressed in the world of quantum physics. Quantum physics recognizes it's mental and spiritual is what controls our lives on this planet. When both of those were taken out of medicine, that's why the mind wasn't included in medicine, and then they found placebo, nocebo, and then they don't even want to talk about it. So in medical school, you got, hey, 15 minutes, this is placebo effect. Okay, you got it, let's go on. And they just left it back there because mind was left out of medicine because it was an energy and body is not energy. And the new vision is happening.